Question earlier. Out of the both of us, which one of us do you think has their will put together and done and finalized?
Well, which one of us has the most sense and is more practical?
Or which one of us has
intelligent?
parents that were saying, hey, you need to get this done, it's time, and we want to make sure everything's in order because you never know what's going to happen in life, which is true.
Her parents.
My parents, yeah. So I recently went through the process of it, and it got me talking and got me thinking. I didn't know the process. I didn't know what goes into it, yet it's something that needs to be done. And then I asked Mike, hey, like, what about yours? And that's when you told me, oh, I don't have one.
I don't have one. I know it's stupid, and I need to get it done.
No, it's not stupid. I think a lot of people, it's something you don't want to think about, and you don't know what all it entails.
I think we all might be surprised how many people don't have them. And I don't want to leave this mess to my daughters.
Right, to your loved ones behind you. So let's bring in estate planning attorney Nigo Pyle from Pyle Law Firm here. And you're basically going to teach us wills 101. I'm sure you've heard from people all the reasons why they say, oh, I don't really need one, or oh, I'm not thinking about it now.
No, absolutely. You know, people come into my office and they ask that question, you know, what do I need to do? And some people come in and they say they just want a will. But I always tell people, let's talk about the basics. Let's get powers of attorney. Because, you know, when you're in an airplane, right? Well, this is the first thing they tell you to do if there's an accident. You put on the mask on yourself first, and then you tend to the rest of your family.
Right.
So the most important thing that we want to do is look at powers of attorney, healthcare, financial. So if something happens to us and we're not able to make decisions, that we have somebody in place.
Who normally is that?
It has to be a trusted person. So it can be a family member. If you're married, it can be your spouse. If you're not married, it should be somebody that you trust.
My child? Children? Adults, yeah.
If they're responsible. Some adult children are not.
And that's the thing. I think a lot of people think of wills like, oh, who am I going to leave my stuff to? But there's also, you've defined and think of a trusted person who's going to execute it, who's going to make sure everything, all your wishes will be carried out. And that was hard for me because you have people you love and people that surround you, but it doesn't mean I want you taking my things or trusting and making sure things happen. It doesn't mean I think you can do that.
You wouldn't look to me?
Well, that's
I'm
true.
too old to be your person.
Is there an age limit?
Well, I think.
So that's a very good question. Anytime you're looking at someone that you're going to put in place, your executor, if you have a will, and you want to make sure that that person is going to be around longer than you are.
Yeah.
Right? So I have people that...
You're going to outlive all of us.
But this is the thing. I have people that come in and say, I want to put my parents as their executor, right?
No.
I said, well, okay, if you want to do that, let's have a backup, right? So
and that's what happened to me. I wanted to put my parents, and they were like, well, you might need to have another person.
That's right.
Can I just write out on this piece of paper who I want as my executor and what I want, what kind of flowers I want at the funeral home, and just sign the bottom of it?
If you just write it out and sign it, it's not going to be recognized as a valid will in Pennsylvania.
Oh, why not?
Pennsylvania law says that you have to have 2 witnesses, and it has to be notarized, right? So if you sign, you know, your wishes on a piece of paper and then you sign it, make sure you have 2 independent witnesses, people who are not in the will, sign that they saw you, sign that will, or sign, you know, your intent and that you are of sound mind, and then just get it notarized.
And that's the other thing, because some people feel like it can be expensive to go to an attorney. There are other options, right, that you can do just so you can have something.
There are some other options, but I always tell clients this, right? When you go to your annual checkup, you go to your doctor, right?
Yeah.
You don't just do your own annual checkup by yourself.
No.
There are important considerations that an attorney can do. An attorney will look not just what's happening today, but they're going to look into 20, 30 years from now, right? And they're going to talk about long-term care planning, things that you may not be able to do on these online platforms. The online platforms offer a very limited scope of help.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I mean, not everyone can afford $1,500, or that might be daunting to hear. So at least it's something. But you have options. You can go online, which might have its limitations, or you can go to an attorney. And then really quickly, too, at what age do you recommend? Is there an age where you feel like, okay, now it's time for you to get a will?
So this is a great question. I encourage my clients to start talking with their families, their children right now, right? Make it a mindset, right? It's a health decision. But also, at age 18, everyone should have planning done, at least powers of attorney. 18, at least powers of attorney, right? Because guess what? My daughter, as soon as she turned 18, she went to college. Now, if she goes to the doctor and I try to go in after her or with her, the doctor's going to tell me to stay back.
Because she's an adult.
She's an adult.
18.
So if she had a power of attorney naming me as her agent, I could go back with her, right? And so as early as 18, you want to start planning.
Okay. Thank you for coming in.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Can I come